All right.
Yo.
Start.
In the house.
All right. Welcome, you guys. Welcome to my next podcast. Welcome to Good Morning Delaware. In here, we have Carlito as our next guest. And Carlito, can you tell us about yourself?
Definitely. So I can define myself as a multi-skilled, polyfaceted person with multiple interests, and as a serial entrepreneur as well. Main things, we will discover more throughout the conversation. Main things, there are three key components. And I did science, so I'm going to refer and quote a lot of people. The first one is Naval Ravikant, which mentions like it's very difficult to become the number one or the best, even the top 1% at one single thing. But when you have like three different domains of expertise, it's way easier to become very relevant, to become 5% of the top.
Yeah.
When you combine three different domains, right? Naval Ravikant, super smart guy. In my case, my three domains are performing arts, dance and theater, psychology, positive psychology and spirituality, and the third one around email marketing and online businesses.
Oh, wow.
Those are the three that I go.
So, base when I get is you're an entrepreneur. That's like who you are. That's really nice.
Thank you.
So, okay. As an entrepreneur, what would you say your target market? Like, what kind of people that you sell this product to?
Yeah.
Your product to most of the time?
Ooh. So, because I have different offers and also different audiences, let's start with the main income source for me at the moment, which is I can build business architecture for people that are into the domain of online education services. So this can be coaches or trainers. So I can basically get their idea and build everything that they need to make their idea profitable online. So this is one of the services.
But who's your target market? Who's like, when you saw them, you're like, this is it.
That's
Ka-ching.
like my ideal client.
Yeah, your ideal client.
Yeah, but this is where I choose more.
Like, if you're a wolf, who's your sheep?
So, okay, because I work with selling with love.
Yeah.
The metaphor is not so much on wolf and sheep. It's more on Sherpa and guidance.
Okay.
So if we have...
Who's your sheep then?
No, really.
As a shepherd.
It's not a sheep. It's more like who wants to climb the mountain next to me or together with me. So who is seeking for finding a path together. So for this specific service of more online business architecture, is a person that has an interest, an idea or a passion that is aligned to me and that I think that is creating a better world. And I can give you an example of one of the clients that I'm working with, which is Ezequiel Vicente, my former mentor and coach. And
what? Wait, your coach, your mentor is now your client.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you feel? How do you feel when it happened?
This has happened several times.
Yeah, how do you feel deep down inside? For me, when it happened, when he was like, "Yo, Carlos, I don't get I want to use your service."
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel when it happened?
So I'm getting more familiar to this feeling. First, building trust is like, okay, people don't know each other, and Ezequiel is more like a cat. I'm more like a dog, I find people sniff their ass, and then
No, you didn't answer the question. What do you feel? It's okay to say it's like, I'm proud of it, I'm fucking like, get that. I'm the shit. Like, you're like, are you dancing when that happened? You're like in the emails. do you do that?
So I do.
That's what I want to hear.
But the funny,
admit it.
Yeah, so because I do sales, I need to keep my face straight when moments of like very intense moments, When I drop the price and the person is yes, no, and we are negotiating, then I need to keep my poker face. Now when they say yes, I freaking need to keep my poker face at that point because I cannot go in front of the camera like, fuck it.
That's kind of. And you do feel your mentor knows when it happened. He was like, "Yo, this guy, he must be so happy right now.
But I was chasing him. It's a bit of, I believe so much in his product and and he had so powerful impact on my life.
Yeah.
That's almost since the beginning I was telling him like, let's build something together, together. So,
but as a mentor, you're asking, do you think that he knows that, oh, he must be fucking enjoying it right now?
Yeah. But, we both know, we are in this ecosystem, work and play mingles. So whatever we do is something that we enjoy. And for me, it's joy and meaningful. Like I'm going to help him to scale his services so he can impact more lives and he can, we can heal young people that feel lost and we can give them a direction in life. And I've been lost or finding my way through many years. So for me, I know there is plenty of people that they need to review who they are, what they want to do in their life. And this is what we do.
So legends supporting legends.
Always, man. Yo.
So where are you from, Carlos?
I'm from Spain, man.
You're from Spain. Which part in Spain?
Yeah. So there is this city called Valladolid. So some people that like football, the football team is called Pucela.
What the fuck is Pupella?
Pucela.
Is it like paella, but like, fuck you?
We can go with a bit of history here. So when, I believe, check this on Wikipedia, check this on ChatGPT. So when France was invading Spain, at some point like 300 years ago, I believe, then some people from my hometown came to fight on the borders of France, and they were like Pucelanos. And from there, like Pucela became like the nickname for the city. And Pucela or Valladolid, it's in Castile Leon, which is mainland, like North Madrid. Very famous because of the one wine called Ribera de Duero. So that's like the river of Duoro, which is the river that ends up seeing Oporto. And Salamanca is a city that many people know, and I studied on Salamanca. I started to study psychology there. Yeah. And that's where I come from.
I asked our friends previously about Spain.
Yeah.
Like one time I was like looking at the map of Spain's like the Spain at night from the space. You know that kind of stuff. Spain at night from the space.
Yes.
Yeah. Then what I realized is like, okay, if this is Spain, like all the lights is like on the edges of Spain, and in the middle there's Madrid.
Yeah.
But in between them it's just like empty. Why is that?
So okay.
And there's just like some street like connecting Madrid to like everywhere.
Actually, that's a problem, a situation that many politicians are trying to tackle or to fix, which is called a rural exodus. So this happened on the past, right? Like when many people left the villages and they moved to cities, and now it's been again the same process. Like people want to go to big cities, and many people move to Madrid from my town, from my city. Many people commute to Madrid every day.
Okay.
It's 2 hours by a fast train. And it is life like this.
Fast trains.
So my cities, they become periphery for the main city. And this process is happening more and more. So more, not mega cities, because Madrid at the end of the day is 5 million. So it's not 20. But yeah, Madrid, and then, the empty Spain also.
So how do you feel about that situation?
People take their choices in life. Okay, we can go deeper, and this is interesting.
No, I know. Go deep.
Yeah, this is more interesting, which is like proposing or redefining the way human beings live in planet Earth, basically. So because I studied psychology and positive psychology, my focus is on well-being, on optimizing well-being. So what is the most optimal way for human beings to live? And it seems that living in a big city is not always the best.
Yeah.
So
I'm not a city guy. I'm a suburban guy.
Yeah.
Not a village guy. Suburban. Totally different.
Yeah. So that's why, how do I feel about that is now we are going to have a lot of land for a really low price with the opportunity of redefining our usage of that land.
Yeah.
And my proposal here is communities, which is find yourself 70 people that are aligned to your values and your mindset and your way of living, and build something together. Internet is everywhere in the planet.
Yeah.
So what I call this is not digital nomads, it's like digital sedentaries.
You're saying you want to build a village.
one after another. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that's your dream, that you want to build a village.
Yeah, like so. Thank you for rephrasing it. The fancy words that I put is more like a confederation of communities. So there is a set of communities that can be like managed by another entity.
Yeah.
And people can live in these communities in a way that is self-sustained already.
Mm-hmm.
But then if they want to travel or if they want to cooperate with different communities, they can use the power of internet and now AI to manage all these connections and all this mobility at the same time that more people are occupying and having a lower impact into the land, into the planet.
A village with the internet.
A village with internet, man.
Okay,
Technology.
Technology, okay. Okay, can I ask something about this guy? Do this thing. Who is the leader? Who's going to be the leader of this village? This community?
I believe there is, now with the AI, it's almost unavoidable to develop democratic systems that collect and process the input of all the individuals, and that they are able to take decisions that are more educated by processing that data.
Holy shit, you want to make an AI village?
Yeah, AI managed village, definitely.
Oh my god, that is so...
Yeah.
It's
the future, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. Well, what? I barely talked to you. Like, I just realized, like, wow. Yeah, well, I'm like speechless.
Thank you.
Okay, but like, do you want to start this thing in Spain?
So I moved to Zambia and I lived there for 8 months. And I had this idea of Zambia because at some point some of my friends...
Wait, where is Zambia?
Zambia is in the southern part of Africa. Like there is South Africa. Many people know the country, which is the bottom lower. And then Zimbabwe is above and Zambia is above. And I chose that country because some of my friends were moving there. And then I co-founded an NGO. So under the organism of the NGO, the entity, the legal entity, one of the visions that we are working towards, so building, is to build like first some offices with computers. So it's like a co-working space. So the youngsters and the users, they can start elevating and incrementing their knowledge of computing and the possibilities of internet. And from there to start moving to a more like, bigger. Like then you have a co-working, co-living space. And the next step is like to build in this village community, right?
Yeah. And AI communes.
Yeah. And to delegate as many decisions.
So I heard that you lived in Zambia before.
I did.
How does it feel?
How is Zambia, man? So just to contextualize, I went to India in 2016 and I was like 25. Yeah. And that was like a super extreme cultural shock.
Yeah.
Because in my mind was Europe and North Africa, Morocco.
Yeah.
So Morocco was a bit of a shock. But moving to, like, traveling around India was like, holy cow. Because in India, the cows are...
Holy cow.
Yeah. So my mind exploded in many different directions. And I thought about anthropology, about sociology, about management of cities, management of societies. So when I went to Zambia, I was more equipped with alternative ways of living in planet Earth during the 21st century.
So it's an alternative.
It's not what we are used to in Europe.
Okay.
Right, like everything is well managed, everyone is picking the trash, putting it in the recycle factory, all that. Zambia, as I could have expected, infrastructure is low. Like how low? What? Okay, so funny thing.
What? Yeah.
That in many occasions in Europe, if you are European, the listener, they don't realize like how much of a visual cues we have in our public transportation.
Okay.
So when you go to the stop of the bus, for example, you can see which line is passing on that stop.
Yeah.
And you can see also how many minutes until the bus. So that's European, let's say, bus, public transportation. In Zambia.
Yeah, whatever Zambia is.
In Lusaka is guys that they rent or buy a big van and then they accommodate it. So they put the seats inside.
Yeah.
And you go back like in India, it's very good.
Yeah.
So it's basically 4 people, 16 people, so 4 rows of 4 seats,
Yeah.
sometimes 5 even,
Yeah.
and then on the front, 2, 3,
Okay.
and the driver. So this is like how many people go in one van.
Yeah.
And then there is always a driver and a conductor.
Yeah.
And the conductor is the guy like getting the money.
Getting anybody. Yeah.
So the job of the conductor is basically half of his body is outside of the van and he's shouting the destination.
Okay.
And this is really fun because the guys go like so at some point I found it so funny that I started shouting back to the conductor. And I become kind of like the crazy guy in Osaka.
Yeah, like look at this white guy shouting.
Yeah. And I started remembering and learning the destinations of the different lines of buses.
Yeah.
And one day, really fun one, was like when I was the conductor. And I was the guy, the white guy.
What?
The white guy in the van shouting the destination. Yeah.
Oh.
And if any of the listeners is in Lusaka, in Zambia, I was like, Magwara town, mami, Magwara town.
So you can speak Zambian then?
Like very...
What language do they use? What is it called?
It's called... Now you got to...
You live in Zambian?
They have different tribes.
Okay.
So each tribe has its own language.
Mhm.
And the ones I can remember now is Nyanja, Memba,
Yeah.
Shosha. Although Shosha, I believe, is in Zimbabwe. And in Zimbabwe, they have another one. But it's complicated. There are many tribes. So each tribe is speaking one, but Nyanja is the main one. And English. Yeah.
So how do they sound like? Because for me, for example, French is like, yeah, horizontal, Spain is like, something like that. How do the Zambians, this tribe sounds?
That's the difficult one. Because I know some songs, Makwera Pomozi, Bagamba, Bagwamba Pakera Pomozi, but yeah. It's complicated, man.
I don't know. For me, it sounds like Spanish.
Yeah.
Or it's because you're the one that's saying.
Because I'm Spanish. So
Oh, okay.
yeah. You catch me there. It's complicated for me. There is, 7 months the last time that I was there. So.
Do you like history?
History. Fun fact. I came just from writing an email about the history of pillow fights.
Okay.
So, do I like history? Well, history is very broad, but yeah.
So you like history. Recently I watched I like history so much.
Yeah.
I really do. And what I just rediscover is the Spanish Armada.
The Armada.
The Armada. Spanish Armada is the one that get beaten by England.
The big one that totally sinks.
Yeah, the one that totally sinks. The one that totally sinks.
The big one.
One of the big ones, yeah. As Spanish, do you have something to be proud of? That's my country have the biggest armada ever.
And it totally sink.
It totally sink.
There is, me person. So first I can speak as what we are taught in the school.
Yeah.
/ indoctrinated a bit. Which is we have this sentence, in Spain at some point, the Spanish Empire, the sun never set. Which is like in England.
Yeah.
Because we had territories in South America, in Europe, and also in the Philippines.
Oh yeah, you guys call it Philippines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was like the empire where the sun never sets, and this was the big thing. But if you know a bit of history, man, Spain lost everything. We have another sentence which is we lost more in Cuba.
Cuba?
Yeah.
Why Cuba?
Because that was the last colony that Spain lost. So after losing everything, we lost Cuba as well. So, and that's the sentence, se perdió más en Cuba. We lost more in Cuba. So what can I be proud of Spain now today?
Yeah. Oh, now you still have colonies.
So sorry?
Now Spain still have colonies.
Which ones?
The one that's in Morocco.
Malaya.
Malaya.
Kind of.
Tell that to the Moroccans.
Yeah.
Are they admitted colonies or not?
The Moroccan people say this is ours, this is ours. For historical reasons that I don't know, this is still Spanish territory.
Cancel him. So how long have you lived in Bali?
Yeah, and it's good, but I'm going to even try to answer the previous question. Personally, what do I feel proud of Spain? I like Spain when I come back because, I've been raised there, so I'm very attuned to our way of living and communicating. So I can say Spanish people are really straightforward.
Yeah.
We are fun, and we tease each other a lot.
Yeah.
And we do it with a lot of love and a lot of relaxed attitude, and we are very open, especially in the south of Spain. It's so fun, man. You are in the street, you start speaking with the person next to you, and suddenly you are drinking beers at night, and more people join, and the party's on the street. Someone takes a guitar and we start singing.
Is it true?
It can happen.
Like, what do you mean? Like, you're just hanging out with someone and people come and start
Yeah, with those
singing with dancing and stuff?
I mean, it's not that happens every night, and also if it's summer or winter, And if it's summer and someone gets a guitar, it's not so uncommon. We have two now also.
So you're the whole Spain is musical. Like Indian movies, you're suddenly it's just you're talking, it's let's dance together,
good.
Tango.
Good. Something that I'm proud of Spain personally, and very briefly, La Picaresca.
What is that word?
Picaresque, man. This is a period in the golden age.
The golden age, yeah.
Yeah.
Before the Armada sang.
Yeah. If you have read Pérez Reverte, which is a writer, he has this book called A la Triste, which is this guy that he's a fighter on the Netherlands, that used to be Spain, right? The Low Countries. And La Picaresca, it started with Lazarillo de Tormes, which was one kid that goes orphan.
Yeah.
So the parents die, and then he joins a blind person.
Mm-hmm.
And the point is imagine medieval ages in Spain when people are killing each other at night for some gold, some coins. A blind guy that is an old blind guy. So how smart has to be that guy to not only survive, but to kind of not thrive, but to make it alive so many years being blind. And then this kid joins this blind guy. And he's always trying to trick the blind guy.
Yeah.
But that guy, that motherfucker, he's so smart, he always catches him. So imagine how smart the kid becomes.
Yeah.
And there is some few short stories. He's for example, drinking from a jar of wine, and then the kid puts one of these, one straw to drink from the distance.
Yeah.
And the guy can't hear it and can't notice by the wave. And eventually, the guy also makes a hole in the jar, and at some point, the guy smacks the head of the kid because he can notice that the wave is getting reduced. So, and this is how smart you need to become in Spain, and that's the picaresca, outsmarting each other. And I have done, and it's something that is on my personality also. Yeah. How long have I been in Bali? 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
So, do you like it?
It's fun. It's easy, and it's becoming a bit of my comfort zone because I can find a lot of people that are very aligned in terms of values, attitudes, behavior, and way of living. So, yeah, I could say that I like it. Yeah.
Do you find it's almost the same Zambia?
Not at all, man.
What is this different? Because we are both third world countries.
Nice, some good input for your listeners now. Third world countries is a concept that, develop and developing countries, is a concept from the 90s.
Yes.
And there is this very good book called Factfulness.
Yeah.
That explains that there are 4 income levels that can represent better the nature of and the state of a country. So Zambia is a level, I might mix this one, so it's a low income country, while Indonesia is a middle low income country.
Yeah.
So it's one level above.
Actually, I noticed.
Yeah.
We're middle income.
You're middle.
Now we're middle.
So middle higher income.
No, just middle.
There is 2 middles, as much as I remember.
Yeah.
It's middle high and middle low.
It's we're almost in the middle high, I guess, but it barely.
Yeah.
It's fucking economy going. Shit.
Yeah. The main difference here is in low income countries, people struggle, depending on how low, but some people struggle to buy shoes. and some people struggle to pay the public transport. In countries like Indonesia, which is more like middle low or middle high, people struggle with buying a motorbike, and there is the difference on wealth acquisition.
Have you tried to go to other places in Indonesia except Bali?
I've been in Ubud, in Gili, in Bali, in Nusa Penida.
Have you been to Java?
No. I mean, I was in the capital, in Jakarta.
You should try to go to the outskirt. The outskirt. Java is like all over the country. I mean, they're not like probably sunny yet. Like, okay, that's also big. Like Probolinggo. I don't think that's also big nowadays.
Malang is still like a city, right?
Oh, it's a city. Yeah.
Yeah, but the people there are like really different. So you have to try going there. We can go in.
Yeah. They have. They're just different. Yeah. I mean, the one that you see here is where Bali is quite a rich island, I believe.
Yeah.
Jakarta is rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's different cities, and I think you should give it a try.
And also the concept of these 4 levels is in many countries the 4 levels are represented.
Yeah.
If in rural areas in Indonesia, an indicator of level 1, which is the low income, is whether it's light, electricity or not. How is the water system?
Oh yeah.
How is the sanitary system?
Yeah.
And so and also the transport, the roads and all this. So that's the difference. Like, you cannot compare Jakarta as a very developed place or very developed city with a very rural place on this. Yeah.
What are your things like, because you've been here and you've been checking people, and what do you think like Indonesia to really very important to improve for Indonesia?
So
because you've been living, I mean, it's like you're from Europe, which is like it's really different, and you are already like very settled country.
So my experience is limited to Bali, and within Bali is limited to Canggu most.
Yeah.
So it's a very
shout out Canggu, my hometown.
Yeah, it's a very, let's say, very small sample.
Yes.
And I don't believe it's representative of Indonesia. So what I can say, also Bali I think is an exception in terms of how kind is the people because of the Hindu culture and Hindu religion. So then, speaking about Bali or Canggu, what I can see like room of improvement
is
English, I would say. Yeah.
It's like,
what do you mean?
The level of English literacy could be bigger, could be higher.
And Canggu,
I believe, yeah.
like to improving?
Well, maybe not Canggu. Yeah, because for being a place with so many expats living here, I would expect that everyone around speaks English. And I don't find it. Like when I go to a supermarket or when I'm in a shop or a store, something like this, sometimes people block. They can keep like, let's say, in terms of degrees, like an A1 or A2 out of English, but I could expect a B1 or B2.
I used to work in a co-working space. Sometimes I pretend to not be able to speak English, so they don't want to me. Or I run villas too, and here's the thing. Sometimes when I talk with them with fluent English, and then they start complaining here's and that because they feel like, they know what I get. But if my mom's the one that handling them, my mom can't speak English, they wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
Then I start to talking with them, like the one that run my villas with broken English.
Yeah.
No complaints. Do you think they purposely do that or not? They were just like, go, fucking go.
With your temper.
Yeah. I don't know enough. And anyways, my point is selfish. Because, at the end of the day, I am, or we are, living in your island, in your territory. And in many occasions, and me, I'm included here, we don't make the minimal effort to learn Bahasa.
Yeah.
So that's a point also. for you. Like, okay, we can learn English, but you can learn Bahasa.
True. I never thinking of something like that. No. But I mean, we want to welcome visitors, tourists to our nation, to our countries, to Bali. We love tourists. And I think it's also good that we have a very diverse kind of peoples. And I believe that's like improving Bali economy somehow. Because now us as a Balinese, we have to compete, right, against this foreign investment, right?
Yeah.
We have to compete, and that's makes us learning. You know, there's passion in us. Like, yo, we need to like compete with them.
Yeah.
But that's like the competitions lead us to innovations. Right. That's why that's why I believe a lot of Bali brands now is getting bigger and more sophisticated, and that we can even like open branches in Jakarta. A lot of Bali brands do that because I think the competitions in the island is so fierce that we prefer to like fight in the city, because in here we have to fight the locals and also the foreigners.
Yeah.
Do you find? What do you think about that?
So I believe it's a pretty complex issue.
Yeah.
I don't consider myself an expert on it. Something that I'm wary of is the real estate and how the island is being bought or rent.
Yeah.
Because here the Indonesian government is pretty smart into not buying the land but renting.
Yeah.
Right? So in Indonesia, for context, as much as I know, you get a lease for the land for 25 years or 50 years where you can build, and then the building belongs to you, to the individual for 25 years, 50 years. But what happened after?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
The law is not being made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
80 years, actually.
80.
30 years.
Yeah. So then it's like, I don't like the whole idea of everyone trying to get a piece of the cake. And also I think the locals are at a disadvantage because of economical power. However, the locals are the ones that are actually renting it, so who knows? They are receiving the money, definitely. So, moving towards the innovation and the competition. I don't know enough, and it's tricky, man, because in Bali there is a lot of tourists that come and go.
Yeah.
So I don't consider them as competition, but more as a client.
Here's the thing. We need to up our games in Bali.
Yeah.
To accommodate those tourists, because they're already used to of developed countries or high-income country standards, right?
Yeah.
So we need to like literally keep up. While other regions, they don't have the incentive to do it.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of like foreigners that make business here, they already know, like, oh, this is standards, this is like how to do it. And that's why they set us a higher standard to like improve like that. So that's why even the tourist debt is like one of the factors that we need to grow.
Yeah. And then there is the other sector of the population of Canggu or Bali, which is more like the digital nomad.
Yes.
Which is people that stay for longer, but because of the Indonesian regulation, in many occasions they cannot open businesses or how you say this, operate in the island.
Yeah.
So their business is online.
Yeah.
So then there is not so much competition with the actual locals, the way I see it.
Actually, there is. Actually, there is a competition over there because they provide some sort of like we need to like, okay, if someone make this, I think we need to make the same thing too, like that.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Wait,
If
can we turn on the AC?
Yeah, it's just. So I have a question. If you have a chance to build a business here that it can help local people, what is gonna be the business?
I believe that the business that we are building, Playing Camp, it helps human beings independently of of who they are, or where do they live, or what they do. So I would stick to that one. Also because in my past, one of my weakness has been like trying to do many things at the same time. So I would stick to this one because it helps human beings. Now, maybe that's not the question. And the question is, if I have infinite resources, what could I do to help?
Local.
Yeah.
And then I believe that I still hold the vision of the eco villages, right?
Yeah, what AI village?
AI community.
AI communities.
Yeah. So as in Zambia, one of the main projects is to build these co-working, co-living spaces and educate people in online business or online functioning, right? And I believe that's the future. Like there is a huge disadvantage between a person that knows how to use a computer and a person that doesn't.
Yeah.
So I would focus on digital literacy.
Like to facilitate it, people that they probably have a lot of skills, but they don't know like where to go. So you want it like to build business, which is like can help like to facilitate them.
Yeah, I mean,
To they grow.
yeah, the business model that I have on my mind is like an investing fund, but in, let's say, in a more startup level. So imagine that I have, I don't know, 300,000, and I can invest on 10 or 30 small startups, and I'm paying them 5,000 each of these startups, each of these 10. So then I'm allocating a bunch of my wealth into 10 groups of people that have an idea that is attractive to me, and I'm giving them 5,000 USDs that can help them operate, let's say, for half a year, and test if their idea works.
Yeah.
By numbers, if 1 out of 10 ideas thrives, I can get my money back in less than 3 years.
But who's your target market?
For this,
Yeah.
groups of young entrepreneurs that
No,
want
I
to-
mean like
Yeah.
because you make the startup in Indonesia.
Sorry?
You make the startup in Indonesia, right? You started.
Yeah.
But who they gonna sell this product to?
I don't know, they pitch me. They pitch me their idea. So my market is groups of young entrepreneurs that are interested in building businesses online that I found that that it will have a positive impact for humanity.
Interesting.
So you just do it.
I mean, yeah, I just need capital for now.
It's gonna be your future business to help locals wherever you are. Not even
You don't-
here and there.
Yeah, I mean, if I get to this level of financial wealth, at the end of the day, wealth is to keep it moving, right? Like, and even how the banking works, you cannot put. I mean, it's not safe to put all your money in the bank. It's safer to distribute it, because if there is a crisis or whatever. So, what better investment than people?
True.
Yeah.
You put 5K, and maybe in 3 years you can have like, I don't know, 20-25K,
True. Yeah.
especially online.
Anything,
know,
like
Okay.
anything investment, it's gonna be risky, but then it's gonna be something. You just pick like which the best one that you can invest.
You know what I realized? Do you know if you want to help Indonesian, what we should do? Because I experienced this. What I realized, a lot of information that we have in the world is in English language, right? In English language. And for example, if you can only speak Bahasa, you're restricting yourself to get the information in this particular areas. But if you're able to like speak English, you can tap to like vast pools of information.
Agree. However, AI is making a lot of that work possible because ChatGPT now speaks any language.
Yeah.
So the quality of the information that you might get might be worse. But the point of there is an AI that has access to the internet
Yeah.
that can collect that information, digest it for you, and translate it into your language.
But does it mean, aren't you scared if we as a human, as a species, get all of our information being fed by AI, because it's going to be like one source. You get what I mean? It's like wouldn't it be that you don't have your own, you couldn't form your own opinions anymore? Like, it decreased your critical thinking process.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree, man. Like, the world is moving towards an era that we don't understand and that is really difficult to predict, and that has huge risks, even existential risks, of all of us disappearing from the planet. And there are many threats, and yeah, one of them is we all believe what the AI says.
Yeah, right.
And the AI is biased.
And you want to create village on that?
I mean, I want to, but well, you have a super fair point, which is critical thinking. So and this is something that I realized yesterday. I was thinking, there is a long time since I don't read literature or I don't read philosophy, and I think it's super relevant. Like the difference between getting the actual book or telling the AI, tell me the 10 bullet points about Nietzsche.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Yeah. And now with AI, I believe, like, because we are focused on productivity, we want to produce more. So if you give me a tool that produces more, then I might spend more time to produce more with that tool, instead of remaining in a level of productivity that we can consider that is good. So the AI could give us more freedom.
Yes.
For someone like me that want to do many projects, for me the AI gives me more progress in the simultaneous project.
Like, yeah. I mean, for me, I use AI. I'm not kidding myself. I use AI. A lot of it cuts half the time of my projects, actually. Yeah. But it was just like sometimes I thought I was like, yeah, I don't even think anymore. Yeah, I think the ideas, but I don't have that critical thinking. And but I'm just a little bit scared of I don't want to rely with this a bit too much.
So I can briefly comment this, which is the two projects that I'm most passionate about at the moment is the Plane Camp, and the other one is spirituality and psychology. So the Plane Camp is, we have associated humans with thinking, because this is the thing that it seemingly we do better than other animals, the communication of thinking. Now we have a machine, a device that can think faster than us.
Yeah.
And they can communicate also in a way that is above us, right? Because you can ask the machine to speak any one language and it does it, or to speak with one word or the other words and it does it. So now we can reevaluate and reconsider what are we good at, or what is the thing that we really crave and we want to do. And humans are mammals. And mammals relate to each other. Mammals play with each other. And these are to socialize with each other. I believe human power is on socialization. And that's something that we could do. We could focus more on socializing, on playing and connecting. And this is where Plane Camp appear, which is this platform that offers, workshops or experiences for people to connect in alternative ways and to play with each other. And rediscover the power of having a functional body that feels good to move, and do an activity that feels good, which is playing and connecting with other people. So that's why we can delegate part of our thinking to AI.
Okay.
And that can be positive. And the second one is about spirituality, which is awareness and consciousness, which is something that seemingly human beings do better or more than other species. And as the moment that we are better than robots also.
Yeah.
So we can be aware and conscious of our own existing self and existing experience, and we could invest more of our time going deeper into this, which is more meditation and more exploration of alternatives in the states of consciousness. A brief example is dreaming. What if we spend more time sleeping and training our dreams, or training our lucid dreaming capacity?
It's kind of deep, man.
I am deep.
I'm deep. I didn't expect you're that kind of deep, because every time we talk, we're just always that haha hee like that.
Brother, we have one life and we are going on to die. Otherwise, we might upload a copy of our consciousness to a computer. But something that I realized recently is it doesn't matter, because the consciousness that we are today has an end. And it might feel like one day you go to sleep and the other consciousness that is digital is in a computer and continues with all your memory. It doesn't matter. Like the consciousness that is in this body is finite. So at the end of the day, is how do I want to experience reality? How do I want to experience my consciousness? And in my case, I'm kind of extreme guy. So I want to go to the deepest of I can, and also to the maximum joy or happiness that I can. And I found that playing is one environment where I can do both at the same. But playing doesn't have consciousness in many occasions because you are in this flow state of mind where you don't know what you're doing, but you're enjoying. So playing is like the pure emotion, and meditation is like the no emotion but pure consciousness. So between emotion and consciousness, which is the human characteristics that machines don't do yet, playing for me is the maximum activity that I can do, and exploring my consciousness is the maximum I can do concerning my consciousness, my awareness. I'm playing for my emotions. So spirituality and play, which is they are connected also. You can play with your consciousness and you can yeah. Yo.
Oh, Carlos, you're studying psychology before, right? How do you see me? Like, sometimes I'm scared, around people that study psychology. Like, can they, know who I really am deep inside? Can they? Because you're masters on it.
Yeah. No, my master is in positive psychology, which is well-being. And then I started a PhD for a couple of years on religion and spirituality.
Yeah.
And morality. So how do I see you? And brother, we are all different human beings, and the way I see you, we are into this environment, which means like you have a creative personality, or at least the optimism and the impulse and the drive, the inner drive of creating this platform for people to speak. I think that's a relevant part of your personality. And also the character or the personality that you show here is very dependent on the context and the person.
Yeah.
Because that's part of our very socialization process. Like when I relate with my mother, it's different than when I relate with my father.
Yeah.
And these are the two core people in the life of an infant.
Yeah, I heard in Japanese they have the sayings like, you have 100 masks. Yeah, 100 masks or 5 masks. I forgot. Basically, it's mask for work, mask for that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I want to know the deep end. It's you have this trauma and shit.
Of you?
Yeah. Sometimes that's what psychologists read at. When they talk, it was this guy, he had a childhood trauma, and this or that kind of stuff.
You want that reading, huh?
Yeah.
So I don't know you enough.
Yeah.
And everything that I can say now is hypothesis or creation. The most classical one is and I'm going for the trauma, and I'm throwing here through hours.
Try it, you mean.
And I share this with you, okay? So the fact of people like us that try to put a message out there, it might point out or indicate that at some point of our past we were not listened as much as we need. So at some point we were trying to speak up and someone told us to shut up. And there is a trauma, there is a wound that can be healed with platforms like this, where we are validated and recognized because people pay attention and spend their time, invest their time into listening what we have to say.
That's why you always go so deep, man.
You asked for it, not me. Ask me the crazy shit that I did yesterday, and I will tell you.
What are you obsessed about right now?
The playing camp is one of them.
No, what are you obsessing? Just normal shit, not too deep. It's just okay, you watch animes and shit. Some things I watch animes, I'm very into pasta right now.
Wow. My personality was always deep. I mean, I was going to
Like right now, I'm obsessed with autism.
Okay, I have one. It's still deep. Is dreams, but I'm not super obsessed. But I'm developing an app
Yeah.
powered by AI that allows you to wake up in the morning, you voice your dream into the app, and the app interprets dream.
No, man, that's like you're like building it now. This is sometimes like your TikTok FYP, your TikTok FYP, your TikTok For You page. Like, what's come up in there the most? Like, it's the algorithm and shit.
I'm getting lost. What is the question?
Like, yeah, your TikTok. You're like, what your
Instagram? What's my feed on Instagram?
Yeah, like, what's your current obsession right now? Your TikTok. Mine is full of ADHD and autism. Maybe they think I crazy.
I'm a lot into entrepreneur movement and play. Also, I'm starting to follow some guys on that. I'm a lot of self-improvement, but not in the sense of you can do everything, because
Wake up at 4 a.m.
Yeah, I believe I'm already past that phase, and now I'm more in a phase of entrepreneur improvement. It goes more around how to run teams, how to run a company, how to develop systems, and how to start scaling yourself to new stages. Yeah. If that answers the question.
It answers the questions.
Yeah. And principles, like Navarra Vicant is a really great guy. There is also John Gray or something like this. They have principles on life and business. So if you get the principles, then you can build the house, the castle.
Oh yeah, I believe on that. I think before you build anything, you have to have vision and mission. Otherwise, you walk aimlessly at night.
Yeah, and they give you a lot of guidance and redirect. Right? Like, what am I doing? Is this aligned with my mission? Is aligned with the vision? How do I see this interacting and supporting the bigger picture?
All right, it's almost an hour.
I don't know, and time flows.
Time flows. Okay, how do you like this interview so far? Like, I want to know.
I think it's amazing, and I hope people enjoy it. I hope people find value. Maybe I haven't seen other of your episodes or other of your approach. Maybe with some people it goes more into the fun stuff and more into the jokes.
Yeah.
It reflects the characteristic and the personality of the interviewer and also the interviewee. And in my case, I like to provide value. I think it's an important concept, at least in the sense of what I believe is value. Right, because some people look for entertainment and that's valuable for them. Some people look for education, that's valuable for them. For me, it's more like, to chip in some of this, some of that. And I enjoy it, man. I love it. It's like easy conversation.
What do you hate about it?
About the interview?
Yeah, what do you hate about it?
I don't hate it normally.
What you don't like?
Okay, I don't like the microphone. I think is not really well located. I think it's in like on the line.
But that's like. What do you don't like?
Maybe I was influencing you or the conversation too much, and because at the beginning you were like more hype up, and then you become more thoughtful. So no.
I mean, it's just go with the flow. Like it's for me why would call it interview? It's podcast. Yeah. No, for me, I don't care about that one.
Yeah.
I don't care about like how. For me, it's like about the flow. If it goes like this, it's like this. We don't have to like build it in a certain way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like the energy. You feel the vibe, feel the energy, like, and then what else?
I mean, I was controlling my language in some occasions to not say swear words.
Why?
Like, you never know if the person that is listening is 8 years old and the father is next to the kid, and then because you said this or that. Exactly. And the father is like, okay, you are not going to watch this again. So you lose one viewer and you lose impact in your future.
Yeah, but cats is not my
Do you know
Margaret?
Yeah, man, but you, especially when they are so young, sometimes one.
You should watch my other podcast. Then this is not kids friendly at all.
It's good. It's good to know.
Not kids friendly.
Our internet is open, and you never know when a kid of 10, 12 years old, you can change their life literally. Because I mentioned something about the online business, or you mentioned something about moving to Spain or the Spanish history, and now they are like, wow, I want to learn history. And because of this type of more conservative mindset around which words you got used or not, then maybe you lose a life that got in. Don't say it.
All right. Thank you for the podcast.
My pleasure.
It was a really interesting one, actually. You kind of like give me a lot of information about who you are. And yeah, as a friend, I was like pretty surprised. Like that's the interest is like that. I thought you're just a goofball just hanging around here.
Second round, whenever you want.
Second round. I will.
Yeah.
I will.
So guys, listen to.
Do you want to plug something?
Yeah. What was the name of the podcast?
Good Morning Delaware.
There you go. Guys, listen to Good Morning Delaware, because you can find like amazing gems, gems. And, personally, I love listening to podcasts. I listen to them when I'm driving, when I'm on the scooter, when I'm on the car, even when I'm doing exercise. And I think it's a very powerful, valuable entertainment resource at your disposal to keep on growing yourself, keep on educating yourself. Here you have Good Morning Delaware, which is a lovely platform to send these messages of love into the planet.
Instagrams, companies, plug it.
Yeah, guys. I mean, Carlito Fluido. Ideally, there are links on the description of the different things that I do. You can reach out via email, via Instagram. If you want to participate more into the different projects, either Playing Camp, playingcamp.com. Kunika is the NGO in Africa, Kunika, Zambia. Spirituality and Psychology is SPIPC. Spirituality, Psychology. SPIPC.com. CarlitoFluito.com. And yeah, let's play, guys. I just hope that we met in person and we can have an evening of fun and games and enjoying being alive as a human, which is what I believe we are here for.
I love you guys. Thank you for watching me. Thank you for watching me and Carlito talking about life, love, psychology, histories. What else do we talk? Spain.
Was a bit of everything.
Food?
No?
Did we talk about food?
No,
the fucking French thing. French invading Spain.
Yeah, but there was no food there.
Cool.
It was pufela. Yeah, but that's not a food.
Alright.
Second round, guys.
Second rounds, guys, for food. Alright, bye.
Ciao, ciao.